Warning: Title 17 U.S. Code 512F provides penalties for the deliberate misrepresentation of copyright infringement. The owners and authors of this video, the common denominator, and the Paramystic Broadcast Channel are a nonprofit 501c3 exempt organization and believes in good faith that it constitutes educational fair use, as per Title 17 U.S.C. 107. Persons, agencies, attorneys, and or social media algorithms filing a false or frivolous Digital Millennium Copyright Act complaint may be subject to civil liability. Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Accordingly, viewer discretion is advised.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields the bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
Welcome to, I believe now, the third episode of What's Really Going On in America podcast. So today I actually have a guest that wanted to join me. But before I introduce you to him, I just want to say, if I'm still selling these Human Lives Matter t-shirts, I believe that if we are conservatives, we would want to spread this message, telling the corrupted we are tired of color division. We are tired of talking about blacks, whites, browns, or whatever other color there is. Lives matter. We're all human. And you can get yours on wrgoa.com/shop. So today I'm
So today's guest is a candidate for independent. He's running as an independent, which I actually love. We need more people to be independent in our politics today and not answer to a political party, but to answer to common sense. And he's running for state senator district 29, and his name is Eddie Wenrich. So let's bring him on.
Hey, how are you?
Hey Eddie, how are you today?
Good.
Excellent.
Super Tuesday.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And to throw in a little joke that someone I used to work with would say, only on Tuesday. She would always say that whenever I tell her something.
Yeah.
But because 2 is better than 1. But sadly, a minorless president and a minorless vice president does not make 2 better than 1 in that case.
No, they don't even make 1.
Exactly. So why don't you tell us why you're running for senator?
Yeah. So I wanted to run for quite a while. I've been working on this campaign, on this whole thing for 2 years, put the last 2 years of my life into this, and my opponent, the incumbent, who's been in state senator since 2009, but he's been in elected office for 39 years. He was elected into the state representative district 124 November of 1984. I was born in September of 84. So he's literally been in office my entire life. So I don't like career politicians. When I win, I plan on doing at most 3 terms. That's it. I want to do the work, get things going, and then that's it. I don't believe in staying in forever. It's not, what I plan on doing with my life. I want to help as much as I can and then move on. And I just want to stop the corruption. Like, there's so much corrupt crap in Harrisburg. It's that people just assume that it's just, DC. And no, Harrisburg is horrible. There's so many people that are taking backdoor deals, implementing stuff in our school like Couth, which is terrible. If you have not heard about Couth, look it up. It's an app that schools have been using. They just made a deal with the state of California, which doesn't surprise me for California, but for here, it's an app that kids can use. That they have different things on there where it's a calendar. You can look at the calendar of events, and they have like coming out day, or they teach things that kids don't need to be learning. Like, I can understand in high school when if you're taking an elective, something, fine, and I'm okay, and I don't have an issue with people who are in the LGBT community, but when you get to the the trans community, it's just like, don't push that off on kids. Period. That's it. You can do whatever you want if you're an adult. That's your life. But you push that off on kids, then that's when you start pissing me off. And that's where it needs to stop. And the education system in this state is so piss poor, between public schools not getting funded correctly, some of the curriculum in certain schools, some of the charter schools, like CCA, they're not held to the same standards as public schools. They can do whatever they want with their money. They're given, and it's ridiculous. With Couth, every time a school signs up for Couth, they make more money. They get a kickback. And who is the chair of the Senate Education Committee? My opponent, Senator David Argyle. So none of this went through without, that committee knowing about it. And then he claims he doesn't know about it, which is, BS. That and his stance on he's such a hypocrite. He only seems like he wants to care when it's time to get reelected. That's how he always has been. He's been uncontested for the past 12 years, and that this year is the first year he'll have an independent, and he'll have a Democrat running against him. So I don't see his chances being very good at all. So.
It's funny that you say around election time.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like an employee who's ready for their pay raise, and then they're gonna so a lazy employee would do everything they can to get the highest raise possible, and then get the raise, and then go back to being lazy until it's time for raise time.
Exactly. Sorry, I was. It's. I'm sorry. Repeat that again. I missed that. I was distracted there for a second. Can you repeat what you just said? I'm sorry, I missed it. Someone was looking at me.
Basically, it sounds like a lazy employee who's ready to get that raise, and then all of a sudden they do just enough work to get the raise they desire. Absolutely. And then once they get the raise, they go back to being lazy until the next 6 months to a year comes up, and it's like, oh, I gotta get that raise.
Well, that's the same with any sports stars. Like they play great until they get that contract, and then once they get that contract, and then I got paid, so I'm good.
It's like from college football to professional.
Yeah, well, I mean, even like after the rookie, like they have a rookie year, and then they're looking to make a great rookie season, and then they're looking to get a big signing, multi-year deal, and as soon as they get that big signing, bam, I'm good.
Yeah, sounds just like that.
I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan as far as football, and the biggest Zeke Elliott was the epitome of I got paid. Okay, now I'm good. He played his ass off for two seasons and did wonderful. And then after he got that big contract, bam, he just I'm good.
And for the longest time, when I watched politics in my past, I would always see bad year, and then the fourth year, everything's getting slightly better, and then I'm like, oh yeah, they were working for us.
Well,
but then when I started seeing that same pattern, objectively over the last 20 years of my life that I was voting, I'm like, how is this even? They're not working for. I'm like, they're not working for us. They're working for themselves. And then you be running as an independent. Now, why did you choose to run as an independent?
That's an interesting story. So I originally wasn't running as an independent. I was running in the primary, in the Republican primary, and the local GOP leadership called me, tried every scare tactic he could to get me to drop out of the race, because they want to save their boy, Argyle, and they're threatened by me because I have no filter. I don't care what. I don't go by a party line. None. I don't toe the party line and at all. And then they were. Then I found. Then I was having signing events for my petition to get on the ballot, and I had one. It was a 5-hour event here in Haven at the rec center, and no one showed up. Zero.
Mm.
And I made some calls, and I found out that it was because the GOP leadership were paying people to go out and encourage everyone not to sign my petition. Now, I can't prove that, but that's what I was told. And it makes sense because no one showed up. And I made sure that was advertised as much as possible, ahead of time. And nope, not a single person.
And with your experience, do you actually believe that many of the Republicans are part of the uni party with the Democrats?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're all it's all both. I mean, and that they're. I mean, the leadership absolutely. They go back and forth. They're and in public they go back and forth and they hate each other and everything. But in back behind the scenes, it is all, hey buddy, how you doing?
Kind of like Obama and Bush being friends.
Absolutely, Clinton. And it's what's funny. What's really funny is they all, before Trump ran the first time and won, everyone loved Trump. All those people, Trump donated to their campaigns. Trump was a Democrat. People forget that. And he ran on the Republican ticket, and then everyone hated him. If you look at most of his policies are classical liberal policies, classic Democrat, more like JFK, more like, like back, stuff like that back in the day. His like building a wall was first brought up by Hillary Clinton when she ran in the primary against Obama in 2008. She's the one who brought up building a wall for our southern border. And when Trump did it, of course, it was bad. Orange man bad, like that was. So it's bullshit. Like it's.
But the wall, when Trump talks about it, and we agree with him, it's racist. But when Hillary or Biden talks about it, then the leftists are like, yeah, they're saying secure the wall and the Republicans don't want it. It's like, they're inconsistent with their views.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I was a registered Democrat for a long time. I voted for Obama his first term. I was young and stupid, but I really thought he would. I was oblivious to politics back then, so I thought, cool, first black elected president. He's a great talker. He has a lot of enthusiasm. I think he'll make a good change. No, he was terrible, and a lot of our racial division started because of him. Like in the later, since he's been in office.
And now I sell the Human Lives Matter T-shirts, and now when Candace Owens and the conservative movement did Blue Lives Matter and White Lives Matter, do you believe that was just furthering the color division that they say they're fighting against?
No, I think that was more to just the Black Lives Matter thing, and then them doing Blue Lives Matter. That was more just of respecting the police and our first responders and everything, because they were, during the summer of love in 2020, they call it, that was dystopian nightmare. You know, they burned cities to the ground. They did everything they wanted to do. I mean, they even and talk about a they talk about January 6th being an insurrection, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in May of 2020, they burned a church outside the White House. They caused Trump to have to be forced into the bunker underneath the White House. To me, that was an insurrection.
True.
January 6th was a joke.
And you know, here's my thinking about the Human Lives Matter movement I was created. Yes, there are good cops, but I also watch a lot of First Amendment auditors, or auditing videos to see what's really going on with, especially Long Island Audit. He's one of my absolute favorites. He does more than just audits. He also does journalism and activism. And I've seen good cops. I've seen bad cops on his show.
Certainly.
And there are cops that don't treat people as human. So just like a garden, you know, we gotta support the good ones, but weed out the bad one. Take out the weeds.
Yeah,
Make a beautiful garden of police. And that goes in our politics. That goes with in my whole thing is to end skin color division, and and that just, I don't know. It just seems to me that we need to promote humanity. We need to go back to the 80s to, you know, with this kind of thinking where we only thought of you as a human being. We didn't care about your skin color. We didn't care about your religion. We didn't care if you were homosexual or not. We just cared about you as a human being living in this country, free to do what you're doing. Just don't like you said earlier, don't indoctrinate our kids to think in only one way.
Exactly.
Let the kids explore the world, and when they're adults, they go their own way.
They might figure out they might figure out things, you know, 16, 17 years old, you know, 18. Fine. Like as far as, you know, their sexuality or whatever, fine. But let them figure it out on their own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, and also as someone who's been through what seems to be the part of the uni party, do you believe everyone should be running for office as independent rather than a political gang?
I think if you're against the uniparty, both. I mean, even liberty. So that's the other part of it. I like when I stepped out of the primary, I went to the Libertarians, and the Libertarians they have county committees, and two out of the three counties that are in my district don't have one, so the state would vote for me. And then with the one with the committee, they would be they would vote for me then. Well, that committee in Luzerne County decided no, and it took them a whole month to decide.
Sheesh.
And I'm like, and then I wake up last Wednesday, and to the message saying, well, we've decided not to, you know, nominate you as our candidate. So instead of not nominating me, they don't nominate anybody. They're not running anyone.
So what's the point of having a party?
Yeah, like they're more worried about local races, which they don't win either. I mean, some do. Some are successful. But in this area, in a heavily Republican area, no, they're not doing the I don't think that the Libertarians help the candidate enough to win, make any difference in the polls or in the election. No one knows who they are.
And that's the thing too. People are brainwashed to either pick in Democrats or Republicans. They
Yeah.
don't think individual person like with the Nikki Haley
Mhm.
thing, which she has plenty of Democratic talking points, clearly part of the uni party herself. If
Clearly.
she was to win the nominee, which I'm sure the Democrats want, it,
She
many
won't.
people would be like, well, let's just vote for her. Let's just say she did
Mhm.
somehow, some way, or cheating. Okay. So she would, um, so let's say she did.
Mhm.
You have a bunch of Republicans say, well, it's better than a Democrat, but they won't think, oh,
You
maybe
won't think that
Laws
she's. Yeah.
but Lars Mapstead, who's running for Libertarian, he's definitely way better than Nikki Haley.
Oh
The
yeah.
only thing I don't like about him is his pro-abortion stance, but it's like, but if he saves the country, we can fight against abortions in a different way if
See,
we had to.
and the thing is, like, I don't know his stance completely on that, but I'm pro life or pro choice, but to a point. There's got to be a limit. You can't like that's why I didn't like Doug Mastriano when he ran for governor, because he wanted to completely eliminate abortion across the board, there without exception. You can't do that because there's exceptions to every rule. What if the mother is in it's life or death? She's screwed. Because there's no abortion allowed if it would have been up to him. Um, there's got to be. I don't like the fact that some people use it as birth control. No, that's wrong. No, there's got to be a limit to, but it's a touchy subject because it is a woman's body. It's her choice. I mean, but at the same time, there's a factor there that's it's just wrong. After a certain period of time, or for the reason you're doing it, or it's a it's a subject it's up for debate, obviously.
Well, you know why I would say to everyone who wants an objective mindset on it,
Mhm.
look at research, do ask doctors, that give birth and all
Mhm.
that, and what, for alternatives to abortion, if there are more, many will say go with the C-section to save the mother's life, you know, stuff like that, and find out all the numbers. Like I said, just I would say just do all the research rather than listening, to people with just opinions, but get all the facts.
Yeah, yeah.
Adoption. Oh, the Paramystic says, and Truck IT says adoption is an option. And I totally 100% agree with that. I was actually in foster care. And even though I was in very, very bad housings, most of my life, physically abused
Mhm.
by many of them, and given away to even state institutions, private institutions, and so forth.
Sorry.
I, it's fun.
Yeah.
I do not regret being alive.
Well, no.
Okay, it helped all my young life strengthen me to who I am today. I don't even think I would be in this fight if I was if I didn't have that.
Mhm.
I think I would be much weaker, and so I definitely 100% support life, no matter how hard it is. And people have now how people, you know, live their life, how they take their past, it's up to them. But I took it as a sign of I gain strength. And I'm able to do good. I'm able to help people who's having a tough time like I did.
Yeah.
So, eh, so I would definitely do everything possible to bring life to any child.
Yeah.
Eh,
No, I agree too. I mean, I would rather have the child be living, um, than being aborted. But at the same time, you got to when you look at both sides, there is certain factors where if the woman is raped or if it's a drug issue or something, I'm okay with, depending on how, like I'm okay with the choice that they make, like because if it's someone that's on crack or, that's heavily on drugs, that child may, grow up and be and not have a really good life as far as
then you
physically,
wouldn't
mentally.
then you wouldn't be talking to me today if that was the choice my mother made, because I would be aborted.
Well, I mean, like I'm referring to more like if the baby has more, like it could be any issue. It could be a lot of various issues. Like I have seen, you know, people on drugs who had kids who were just when they were born, it was uh, their life was not well at all.
That explains my whole childhood and most of my teen years. I didn't have it good until I came here to Allentown, where the final foster father I had, which I had maybe for a year and a couple months, finishing up my 11th grade and 12th grade years of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And until him, most of it was horrible. Like, if you saw my whole life through my eyes, you would be like, how is he even not depressed? How is he not, down? How is he so strong in his convictions when most other people would want to say, I want to kill myself,
Yeah, I can recommend you for doing what you're doing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So and see, instead of and see, people like me would see. I defend people who have even less, who have even have that kind of life, and I will. I won't tolerate the government. I won't tolerate businesses or anyone to push on anyone defenseless.
Yeah. No.
You know,
No.
and so, and I'm glad the people that people look down on have life. And you know what? There are people that even that a lot of conservatives may even, I know this, would even look down on for some reason or another. Oh, eh, which I don't know what those reasons are entirely, because they don't up and say it, they just act on it. Like, you're one of the good ones that always encourage me, always you uplift me.
Yeah.
You know, you you believe in me and what I'm doing,
Yeah.
because you see how much I care about
Exactly.
people. A- Another reason for my Human Lives Matter activism, um, but many mothers will be like, "Who's this guy?" Eh, because I'm not Candace Owens. If I was Candace, if Candace Owens went on television wearing my shirt, everyone would be buying them off the
Oh, of
shelves.
course they would. Yeah.
But because, see, they're looking at the person, not the reason behind it.
Yeah.
Eh,
That's what, and most people's common sense is gone at this point. As far as politics is concerned, or sometimes in some cases anything, especially the left.
Mhm.
They have no concept of human rights, or they say they do. They say they fight for human rights, but they clearly don't. Um, and and honestly, the Republicans are hypocrites. A lot of times they don't either. They don't. They okay. So they care about the baby from time of conception to birth. After that, they don't care.
And that's another thing going too. Part of the uni party. It's like one big argument about life, abortion, and this and that. And it's
Yeah,
like we what we but then
and I'm referring to leadership in this, not voters.
oh
The
yeah,
leadership,
absolutely.
yeah, the leadership, they fight constantly all the time about, well, abortion should be gone. Zero to, like, from conception to birth. That's the most. We care about the kids. After that, see ya. And then when they turn 18, oh man,
Eh, eh,
we want you to join us for the military. Like,
yup.
and they want you to pay your taxes at 18, and they want you to do. It's like, man, they don't give a crap about you between the age of the time you're born to you're almost 18, right? When you turn 18. Until you turn 18, then they care about you again, because they want your money, and they want your service, and they want your. Now there's people who the military. I absolutely love the military. I have nothing against military, of course not. But it's my whole thing is like that's the government's thinking. That's the Republicans thinking. The Democrats, they want to diminish the military. I think the military needs to grow. But
And we proved that with when Biden forced the jab on the
mhm,
military, and he says, "Take it or you're out," and many
yeah,
of them chose to leave.
yeah, and you also see what kind of people. Some people, not all, obviously, but some people, what kind of people are in the military. Where they're letting, they're encouraging various people in the military. I just won't, like I'm just like, it's so woke.
I actually have a theory that they don't want to diminish the military. They want to diminish the military members that they can't 100% control. The kind that'll say,
Yeah,
yes, sir, to unconstitutional orders
yeah,
from the new king.
hmm
And this defund the police, I believe they want to eliminate the local police, the county, the state police. That way, the president will have total control over the whole country with the military police.
I mean, that's a possibility, but at Biden's age, no. He
Yeah,
won't be
well,
around. He won't be around long enough to, he's halfway in the grave now.
he's
And
not even doing
look at
anything.
it.
So,
I know. That looks at, if you look at, remember if you've seen the video of the interview of Obama being interviewed about if he could do a third term,
hmm
would he do it? And he's like, well, yeah, if I could sit in my basement and just, and relax and have an earpiece in and tell that whoever's out there what to say, absolutely, I would love to do a third term. And then in theory, that's a possibility what could be happening now, but I don't think, even then, I don't think that's, someone else is in charge, not clearly not Biden. So he's
exactly.
always telling me they're telling me to do this, they're telling me I can't say this. Who's they? Like,
I actually call that the third term loophole.
yeah, yeah. They stopped multiple term more than two terms, or more than two terms after FDR, and I in back then it was a different world, you know, and it was and FDR did a lot of good, you know, but it's 2 terms is the max, and I think it goes across the board for U.S. Senate and U.S. Congress. 2 terms, maybe 3. That's it.
So speaking of taxes and wanting our money, do you think the government is taking way too much money from us as citizens, and that we should have a much bigger tax relief?
Taxation is a crime. I mean, it is really. I mean, there's no reason that we should be paying what we pay. The inflation is crazy, but taxes, like, okay, my Senator Argel, my opponent, he said he ran on all the years he's been in office. He's ran on eliminating school tax. You can't promise to do that because you're going to have people. You have all of the rest of the people in office in Harrisburg that's going to fight against you because, you know, they believe, you know, how they make the money. How do they because they're basically raping your wallet, you know. That's it. They want their money.
And with the salaries, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're serving as a president and your time is up, you get money after that every year?
Half. Yeah, half the rest of your life. Every year.
Don't you think we should get rid of that? Because that's giving money to do a job, to not do a job, and you should be.
I think you should be given maybe benefits.
Shouldn't you be working as a private citizen after being president?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because you volunteered to do the job. You ran to do that job. So it's not like you, I mean, but then again, it is a rough job. I mean, but I don't think you should be given half of, well, but $200,000 a year, basically. That's what that is. And the rest of your life. I mean, maybe 100,000, some kind of pension, or something, but not what they get. No. And plus, most presidents, they don't have to worry about it anyway. That's pocket change compared to what they get outside of once they're done in office or once they're even in office.
Well,
they get endorsements. They get black money, which is not on the books. They get, you know, campaign funds called black money that's not on the books.
It's funny that it would be $400,000 a year while being president, and being president for 4 years. That if you work your money right, you would have
you're a millionaire.
A bit over $1 million, and that's before taxes.
Yeah.
And then after taxes, you still have more than enough money to live off of without needing $200,000 or even anything after you're done your term.
I think maybe medical benefits, maybe for the rest of your life. I can understand that.
Doesn't even need, because I could afford, if I had that kind of money. $226,300 is what an American president makes every year for the rest of their life. I believe once out of office, the candy train stops. Yes, Dion, I totally agree with that. Because no matter what, the money is there after you're done being president. And so I think we're being taxed way too much to give to someone that's doing nothing after they do a term as president. And it makes me want to see all the salaries of everyone, of every other, you know, from local on up.
The base salary for the seat that I'm running for is $102,000.
and how long? And how many years would you get?
4 years is a term. 4-year term.
That to me, that would with 4 years of that, I could live off the rest of my life on that.
Yeah,
Even without a job, without sales, I could live off that for the rest of my life,
and
and
like I
that's
said,
after paying all my debts.
I want to do in most 3 terms. That's it. 12 years. That's it, and then I'm out. And that's over $1 million before taxes.
Mm.
You
So
know?
Don here says the average American will pay 532,910 in taxes throughout their lifetime. That's a third of all estimated lifetime earnings spent on taxes. And this is just a federal income tax.
Yep.
Huh. Go figure that one out. So why are we spending more on tax? So we're spending. See, leftists would say, but what about the roads? And it's like, gas tax for that, and we're spending everything else to pay people in politics to make a way better living than an
Yeah.
owner of a small business.
Well, you know who's making a better living than anyone in America right now?
Mm.
Zelensky.
Oh, yes, without tax dollars in Ukraine.
Yeah. He has how many houses, and and he lives like a king. He don't worry about nothing.
And yet, the leftist wants to support
And they're
Biden by
right.
giving them more billions of our dollars.
Yeah, and the Republicans do. They want that. I mean, you have Lindsey Graham, who is the biggest war hog there is, and then Nikki Haley, of course, who works for BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, all the whatever. She's in the board of Boeing, and she absolutely, they all absolutely want more money to be fed to Ukraine, create war. Russia is the bad, Putin has done. I mean, Russia is Russia, but they're. I don't see the point of making them an enemy when we don't have to.
Exactly, and to be honest, it's like one of my favorite patriots besides yourself, Mindy Robinson. She basically blasted it out of everything, and that is when she said only a handful of Republicans are actually helping this country, which is why we're in as deep as we are in this country, with overspending on taxes.
Yeah.
And Don here says Nikki is nothing but a Chinese sellout rhino looking to line her own pockets and start issues with China, whom, let's face it, made her rich.
Absolutely. Because she was broke. And then she ended up on the board of Boeing, and boom, she is back in the saddle again. And she's now today will prove whether or not Trump's gonna, I think, wipe her out today.
Oh yeah.
And when at the end of the night, when voting is all done, I think tonight or tomorrow, she's gonna. There's already rumors that she's suspended a lot of her stuff. I think she's done.
But hey, at least Nikki has one win in DC.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, DC is Rome.
Yeah, seriously. Since when?
That is where all the corrupt politicians are. I mean, like the main ones. Everything. Rome was at one point really good, and then it just down until it fizzled away and got sacked. I always love comparing the United States to the Roman Empire, because that's exactly what we are. We're this era's Roman Empire.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, I feel like we have Julius Caesar in the White House rather than an actual president. And even then, he's more of a president of Ukraine than he is of America. And it's
Yeah.
like, I keep asking, when will we have a president again? I sure miss having one
See, so like this
when
year,
Biden took office.
as much as people, as much as I love Trump, I do. I voted for Trump twice, and but this year I'm not. I'm voting for Kennedy
Mm.
because he is he is a classic. I mean, he's just like his uncle and his dad, but even more like open and without a filter. He doesn't care who he pisses off, and he does it with facts. Trump, I love Trump because of his, you know, he like he'll come out and he'll be like, he died like a dog, like, like when they captured Soleimani, when they killed Soleimani, he died like a dog, like I love the kind of stuff he says and how he is, but when it comes to, I just if he wins, I don't want another 4 years of him trying everything he can to get something passed, and it's like another 4 years of hell for him. When
Eh,
Kennedy, if he gets in, he has the ability to really work with both sides, and he's already outed and sued how many of the people that had to deal with the pharmaceutical companies. He hates Fauci with a passion, as do most of us.
mhm.
And I mean, there's so many good things about Kennedy, and that's why. And he's actually one of the reasons why I just like, you know what, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run independent because he
Eh,
is. And he's
and
gaining traction too.
I definitely have respect for Kennedy in many ways that I have respect for Trump as well.
Mhm.
And like, if Trump didn't prove himself the first time,
Yeah.
if he would have been just like Bush and Bush Jr.,
Mhm.
I would be like, screw him. But
No, Trump did an amazing job his first
oh
term. I
yeah,
know what he can do, but it's like I don't want to see him go through the hell that he did
and
to be able to do anything.
well, I look
At
at
his
it this
age,
way.
it's just like it's. I know he looks in decent shape yet, but like I don't know. Like his age, you got to start to wonder: is he going to get to be like Biden by the end of it, as far as his mental capacity?
Well, we have a message here from Don. Only problem I have with the Robert Kennedy is the fact that he was on Jeff Epstein's list. Also, Biden couldn't even fill Caesar's loin cloth. It was not a fair comparison. Biden is a few crowns short of a Crayola box,
Mhm.
namely because he ate them.
I don't see. We don't know that. We don't. I don't want to go into conspiracy, but we don't know that that he was on Jeffrey Epstein's list. We have no idea. We don't know who was actually on that list because they never will. They'll never release it. We can assume. We can guess. Probably a lot of the. I would assume like a lot of people were on that list that don't want to be leaked. I can almost guarantee, like Trump wasn't on that list, wasn't even mentioned. He was on. Trump said he was on the plane once, and they went to Florida, or they went to Florida to his house or whatever. I don't know, I forget. But he never associated with Jeffrey Epstein other than that one time, and he didn't like him. Probably the same way with Kennedy.
Mm.
I don't see. I mean, after being on X Spaces and talking to him, talking to his son, Robert Kennedy III. I'm really good at reading people. That's why I'm good at I'm pretty good at what I'm going to do when I'm doing, like, and I read through bullshit and I don't see it with them. I don't.
And it's funny that it's taken it's still taking this long to even get that stupid list.
It won't ever get released.
And because yeah, because
That's like
even if they did, they probably end up changing the list, putting names that they want to assassinate the
Mhm.
character anyway at this point. And it should have been subpoenaed like right when we needed it,
Mhm.
not like years later.
The only way we're ever going to get the truth on JFK's assassination is if Robert Kennedy is voted as president. That's the only way we're going to get the true, like he'll release all of the unredacted files.
And,
Same, and I got a quote. I got a quote from his
target,
son, huh?
which will make him a target to
Oh
the
yeah,
deep
absolutely.
state.
They denied him 4 times now for Secret Service protection
Mhm.
while he's running. 4 times. That's crazy. Makes you wonder, gee, why? You know.
Well,
Also,
old Willie Slippy Clinton is on the list. They have released some of the list. Oh yes, the CIA and FBI have that JFK so wrapped up, it's nuts.
yeah, well, CIA is the problem, big problem. I know that JFK wanted to disband the CIA, and well, look what happened.
Yup.
One day in Dallas, and but I got a quote from Bobby's son, and he said day one, because I asked, I said, "What's your dad's policy on or intentions on releasing any of the UAP files, the UFO, all the UFO stuff?" And he said day one. That was exactly what he said. Day one. That would be he'll release all of it. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, that's something that that's a thing that's near and dear to me because I'm into, like back in the day I used to ghost hunt. I used to do all kinds of stuff. Like I believe in ghosts because I've experienced it. Like I was the kind of person that I didn't believe it until I saw it. Well, I saw it and experienced a lot of it. And then UFOs, we can't be the only life in the entire universe. There's no way. The only like intelligent life in the entire universe, there's no way. There's got to be more.
If I was Kennedy, I would not be. I would be afraid to run for office. Not a good life expectancy in that line of work for them.
No, you're right. It's the Kennedy curse. Like JFK was killed. His dad was killed. Bobby a few years later. So I get it. And then JFK Jr. was went down in the plane crash. That was kind of was it by accident? I don't know.
Well, we're actually out of time right now, but it was good having you. Definitely wonderful having you on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Great to have an independent anytime I can get one on here,
Yeah.
or a constitutionalist like
Yeah.
me.
If you want everyone to go to my website, it's vote Eddie for the number 4 PA.com and donate, volunteer. I'm looking to build a team. It's going to take a lot because I want to beat corruption, and I now have a corrupt incumbent and a Democrat running against me. So, yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for being on, and we'll see you backstage
All right. See ya.
later. All right. Well, join us next week, and you have a good day, everyone.